We're back over here at the F-150. Today what we're going to do is kind of clean up everything, try to get as much gunk off of here as we can. I'll probably take the transmission loose, and then I'll see what other accessories I want to take off of here. And on my other truck, I need to replace my oil sending unit, or oil pressure sending unit, and that is right there behind the power steering pump next to your oil filter on a 302. At least a 90 to 92 model, because this is a 92 engine and that one over there is a 90. So I'm gonna set the camera up, get this all sprayed down, let it soak on there, and then try to clean it up some. I've got some carburetor parts cleaner, I've got carpet upholstery cleaner, and a little scrub brush and screwdrivers, and we'll see if we can get this thing to clean up pretty good, because it's got years of gunk on it. I have a soapy water bucket here. Normally with this carburetor parts cleaner, I put it in a spray bottle and I'll spray it on everything, but I can't find the spray bottle, so we're just gonna have to try to spray it down with this carpet cleaning bottle. I'm just gonna get it in as much places as we can, see if they can break through some of that material. We've got a couple different types of scrub brushes and stuff. I've even got a little scrub brush that goes on a drill attachment, and we can try it if we need to. Just kind of get something all over the place. Let it be trying to break some of this stuff loose and make it come off 10 times easier. So I'm telling how long all this crap's been on here, so it may fight us trying to get it off. But I'll let that soak for a minute, and then I'll go over it with a screwdriver, get as much of this big stuff off as I can. And I'll pick up whenever I'm doing that. I've got the biggest screwdriver I have. Stuff is just caked on there real good. But it is coming up relatively all right. So I'll sit here and scrape this for a little bit, see how much I can get to come up, and I'll show y'all whenever I make some progress. All right, 30 minutes or so of sitting here scrubbing, getting all the little cracks and corners with the screwdriver and everything. I've got it a lot better already. Here's all the dirt that was on there. I'm gonna give it another spray everywhere. I've got some of that top layer off. I'll let that soak for a second, and then I'll start scrubbing on it and see if it comes pretty clean. now that I've agitated it all really good, I'm gonna get a little bit of water on a rag, see if I can wipe some of this out real quick. There's still a lot of gunk on the top, so I probably should go through and scrape it off before I do another pass. And it's coming out really good up here. A lot of that stuff's coming off. Back here where the gunk is still heavy, I'll have to go over again. Not wanting to come out. Over here on the crack, came out pretty good so far. Probably have to go over everything multiple times just because how much crap there is. I was gonna go over it with the pressure washer, but I kind of want to get as much off by hand just so I don't have to worry about watching where I'm spraying or anything. So, but that is already a lot cleaner. So I'm gonna do this process a couple more times and see what it turns out like. We are making pretty good progress on this side of the transmission. Everything's coming pretty clean. I'm starting to see silver instead of just black like this. I'm gonna start on this side while that side soaks, and then I'll get this side soaking while I clean that side, and just go back and forth like that. But as you can see, there is just years of mud and oil, and who knows what caked in on this thing. It's gonna take a little while to clean it up, but it should look pretty good by the time we're done. This transmission is cleaned up pretty well with all things considered. There was a lot of gunk on both sides. Some of the stuff still caked on there. But I would say that's definitely an improvement for now. So I'm not gonna be worried about that anymore. We're gonna see about what I need to do to unhook this transmission and get it separate from the motor. Once we have that, it'll make it 10 times easier to move everything around and get it put on trailers and stuff like I want to. Because I need them on trailers. Eventually they're going to be sent off and be rebuilt. So we'll get started on that. And it looks like it's missing some bolts already, so it may just be these 4 bolts. Unless there's... No? Yeah, it looks like it's just these couple here. Should probably get a jack stand under the back and then support the middle of the transmission. Probably be my best bet since it's up in the air. Or I can just try to get everything on the ground and take it loose on the ground, pull the transmission away. But I'll see about that here in a second. Alright, I have the transmission supported, but before I took out the last bolt, I went ahead and pulled this where the exhaust met with the manifold and got our starter out. I believe I just have to take that bolt out, and then the transmission should come separate and we can start moving stuff around a lot better. So I'm gonna do that really quick and hopefully everything goes right. Okay, I took that last bolt out. I let this jack down a little bit, and then I just picked up on the tail end, started shaking and pulling until it finally let loose. So we're good there. That'll make it a lot better about trying to get this thing to move around like I want it to. If I can get it in position, set the motor back down, and rehook it more center, that'll help out a lot too. Which was what my main problem was when it came to getting out of here. didn't have the strap in the right place, and it made it so off kilter that it kept getting hung and didn't want to do what I needed it to come loose. But here we are. Transmission's loose, motor's loose. Next thing is going to be cleaning the motor, getting rid of that intake, at least to a point, because we're going to go carburet it on this motor whenever we have it rebuilt. I went ahead and set the motor back down on the ground and flipped it around. That way I'd be lifting the back end up higher, because that way we can get the trailer close by, get a couple people to lift on the front end. It should make it a lot easier to actually get it onto the trailer. And I can also just stand here, pull things apart as I need. Should make it go fairly easy. This strap may give me a little trouble letting the intake off, but I'm sure I can figure out a way around it, or just take, most of the intake loose, but not actually take it off yet until I have it on the trailer. A bunch of this EFI crap would be good to come off. Basically, from valve cover to valve cover, anything above that is going to be coming off. Well, except distributor, don't need that still. I can get this power steering pump off, see if it's any good. I'm a little concerned about it because of this piece, but I'll try it out because mine's going bad on that truck. But I'm gonna stop here for now and go get me some lunch, come back and start taking stuff apart. Now, see how much I can get done. There's not much to do besides clean up and tear down, because it will be a while before I can have this rebuilt. And like I said, I plan on buying a 65 project. I'll have to find one, come up with the money first and all that before I can ever actually do anything with this motor. So it'll be more of a garage ornament for now. But enough jabbering, I'm gonna go get some lunch. Moved all the trailers around. Got the smaller trailer over here. Extended my boom out a little bit. Pulled the trailer under it, got the motor on there. It ain't fully on there, so it's a pain about getting it around. Got the transmission over here. I'm probably just gonna throw something over that and leave it where it is for now. So that's that. Next thing we do will be the bed and all that, but that can wait. Over here, I went ahead and put the motor under the carport just to kind of help keep the rain off it a little bit, because there's all kinds of places that water could get in, and that's the last thing I want. So it's over here under the carport on the trailer, hooked to the four-wheeler. We'll leave it. Next thing I look at, and probably the last part of this video, changing my oil pressure sending unit on my daily driver. If you don't know what that looks like, here is a new one. Right here. And it's located behind the power steering pump on the side of the block, also next to the oil filter. So we'll take a look at that real quick, see if we can change it. Hopefully that solves my issue. If not, that means my bearings are probably going out inside this motor. Once you get the wire popped off, right down in this hole, down in that area, can't really tell because there's so much gunk, but there's your power steering, here's your oil filter.
Down in there will be this little guy. And it'll have a wire on the top of it. Use a pair of needle nose, pull the wire off. And it's an 1/16 size. You pull it out, take your new one, make sure you put some thread tape on the end of it, screw it back in there, plug the wire back in, and don't drop your phone like I just did. Alright, that was a little bit of a pain because my motor's still hot, but I've got it in there. Just hoping and praying that I didn't just create a new leak and that it was also what the issue was. So I'm gonna try it real quick. I almost don't want to try it. Whenever I'm new to working on certain things, I always second guess myself. So let's see what happens. Okay, my oil pressure started to read there for a second, but the truck's not starting. Let's have a look. Let's see if I've spit oil all over the ground. No, I don't see none. A bit confused as to why my truck isn't starting though. Did I break something? Let me try to keep cranking on it. Maybe I gotta crank it over for a little bit before it'll start. So I figured out what happened. So that did solve my issue. It shows I'm holding normal oil pressure now. It doesn't seem like it's leaking at all. But what my issue was is this thing's already broke. So all these are kind of just loose. This one right here is my fuel pump relay. Well, while I was trying to get to that, I had knocked it off and knocked it loose a little bit. And when I was picking things up to kind of see what it was, I picked that one up. And as I picked it up, I dropped it. And I heard my fuel pump kick on. So that's why my truck wasn't starting. I wasn't getting any fuel. I pressed it back in, turned right up. But we seem to be good, not leaking oil. We're reading oil pressure. So I'll take that as a win. We'll go ahead and end the video off here. Next time I make a video, it'll be taking all this off and prepping it, getting it cleaned up, maybe painted, pulling that power steering pump off, see if I can use it on my other truck. But for now, I'd say that was a pretty successful weekend. And we're gonna go drive the truck around for a little bit, make sure we don't get any new leaks, make sure we got good oil pressure. But so far, sitting here at idle, doing good. The reason I had replaced it is because normally the gauge would be here in between the L and the N, and it was always showing there. It never would change. So I figured it was wrong, and I replaced it, and now it seems to be reading right. We also had to replace the temperature sending unit before, so I figured maybe that one had gone out as well. But until next time.